without the firepower. She went to the RV's side door and descended the steps, leaving the door open in case she needed to sprint to safety. Smells assailed her nasal cavities the moment she stepped in the front room. Unmistakable stink of cooked meth, cigarette smoke, unwashed clothes and bodies. The rider stood beside the front door, eyes on another man who sat on a couch in front of a television the width of the wall showing the still frame of a paused video game. Feet propped on a coffee table, legs splayed wide, asserting his manhood. Next to him sat an adult female. Although clearly drug-addled, the native woman's bearing oozed poise. She held back a gasp, recognizing her right away. White Dove, the most amazing hoop dancer she had ever seen perform over the years at Indian festivals she had traveled across 4 states to watch. For a moment, she wondered how such an iconic figure wound up here, and then remembered her purpose and couldn't believe her luck. The other woman looked through her, then turned her head to 2 other native women sitting on the floor, legs crossed, heads nodding on their necks. "What'll it be?" the seated man asked. "What have you got?" she asked. "Whatever you want." Her eyes traveled the bare arms of the seated women, injection sites evident. She said, "Heroin. Yeah, I can do that." He pulled out a wad of miniature zippered plastic bags stuffed with beige powder and shook them at her. "How much you need?" Unsure of the price or what would be demanded, she reached into one pocket and withdrew those bills, took a step closer, and tossed the cash to the table. He leaned forward, counted out the money, slid 3 of the baggies her way. She snatched them up and stuffed them in her pocket. Another Native American woman came in the room, head down, shame evident in her posture and reddened cheeks. A man close behind her, tucking his shirt tail in his pants. The 3 women followed her with their eyes, but said nothing. "She's got a big rig," the motorbike rider said. "Plenty of room to get them out of here. They got no more money, so what good are they?" The leader of the men seemed to ponder the statement. She hid her hands behind her back to hide her crossed fingers and said, "I could take them." He shrugged. "Whatever. It'll cost you, though." "Do you want help?" she asked the famous dancer. White Dove raised her head, and they locked eyes. "Yes, I want to stop." Both men laughed, and the dealer said, "Yeah, right. Like that's gonna happen." She ignored him, gaze unwavering on the jewel of the Pueblo. She reached into the other pocket, tossed that wad of cash on the table. "Come with me. I can cure you. I know I can." White Dove said nothing more as she rose and stepped to the door, a limp hindering her gait. She led the way, followed by the most famous hoop dancer in all of Taos Pueblo history, the other 3 women trailing close behind. Chapter 1. Eva. Now. Showered and dressed in a uniform of a sand-colored shirt and dark tactical pants, Eva Duran moved closer to the mirror hanging on the back of the bedroom door, wound her long hair into a tight bun, then pinned on a gold and silver star-shaped badge. Above her right breast pocket, she fastened a nameplate stenciled with the letters Deputy E. Duran. Next, she put on the thick black strap she had yet to become comfortable wearing around her waist, fastened the keepers of the duty belt lined with leather sheaths to her personal belt, and snugged it tight. The equipment consisted of handcuffs, a collapsible steel baton, spare magazines stuffed with ammunition, pepper spray, a pouch for her cell phone, and a small tactical flashlight. Gear she relied on to stay safe and enforce the law in her county. Most important, for well-being and to complete her routine, she withdrew her firearm from its holster, ejected the magazine to make sure it was fully loaded, slapped the magazine back in place, then checked the chambered round of the Glock 22 semi-automatic. Satisfied, she reholstered the weapon on her right hip and removed 2 extra ammunition clips from their sheaths and made sure they were each stacked with 15 Smith & Wesson 9mm rounds.